Hello, hello. All right, so we are gonna do a tip of the week. I do tips of the week on Mondays or Sundays. And so I wanted to come live today because before everybody has dinner and talk about a really cool tip that I have for you in regards to the IEP. And I'm going to do a live Q&A if you guys are even on here. So if it's not a good time, I may just hop on later, okay? So we are going to talk about what you guys should do in regards to what you can look up to find out a whole ton of information. All right. Hi, Jessie. How are you? So what's really cool about this is if you go, so here's the tip, okay? And you know what? I haven't even introduced myself. You know who I am, right, Jessie? Okay, so my name is Raven Woods. I'm the CEO and founder of Autism Mama Rocks the IEP, and I help parents gain the knowledge and the confidence to become the CEO of their IEP meeting. Guys, don't forget, today is the last day for the 30% discount on your IEP makeovers, okay? So if you're on my email list, email me back and we'll talk about it, okay? If you guys are new to watching me live, this is your first through third time, post a one below. Two below if you're an oldie but goodie. One below if you are new. Two below if you're an oldie but goodie. Make sure to say hi. Okay. So I want you guys to first click notifications so you know when I go live. Even if you don't catch me live or you're busy, at least you knew I went live and know I went live, and you can then go watch the video. All right. I try to give really good content. I try to do really good Q&As. I normally do my Q&As over on the group. So if you haven't joined the group, it's Autism Mama Rocks IEP group in search. And this is, of course, the page. I do a lot more personal things in the group, and the page is more, live content 2 to 3 times a week. I'm trying at 3 times a week, but I go live a little bit more in the group as well. So here's your tip of the week, okay? It is hot. Yeah, it's a little warm here, but not like hot, which is cool for me because I used to live in Texas, and my dad and brother are actually still in Texas, Jessie, and it's hot there. My brother's in Austin and my dad is in Dallas. All right, so I actually have mine here in front of me, okay? And so here's your tip, guys. All right, this is really cool, and hopefully you guys maybe have found it, but it's not as easy as you think to find. So if you go onto your state's website, the DOE, okay, on that website, you should be able to find, on the DOE website, you should be able to go into search. And I found that a lot of websites, especially New York, sucks, but you can still find it. It's just a little bit more difficult. So you go into the search area and you can click, let's just say New York guidelines for educating students with specific learning disabilities, or North Carolina guidelines for educating students with specific learning disabilities. Okay. So go on your DOE website. This is, a lot of people think that, the website on the DOE is, a little bit confusing sometimes. And you have all these areas on one side that, say a bunch of stuff. Click always on special education. But then it's actually difficult on a lot of websites. Ours as well. It's kind of hidden of who you would contact in regards to if you made a state complaint. And that's frustrating, so then people kind of give it up because that's cool. I always want to, oh yeah. Well, you know how, us course members, I'm going to hopefully get us all together and maybe we'll go, I'm thinking like west coast of Florida, and we'll have like just a retreat, all of us. I'll invite other people too, but I definitely want to have an IEP retreat. That would be a lot of fun. Okay, so go to your website and find this. It should be like a little packet, all right? And it says guidelines for educating students with specific learning disabilities. It's on your state's website, so it should be your specific state with that, all right? Here's the cool thing that's in that, all right? So it's not like, okay, it's going to tell you how to fight for your IEP, or, you know, it's not going to tell you, you know, all your tips and tricks, or, you know, how you get what you need in the IEP. It doesn't tell you any of that, guys, all right? But here's what it does do. All right, and I used this in an OCR complaint, and it was really great that I found this because I literally copied and pasted it. What's cool about it is, you know, I was making an OCR complaint in regards to reading, and also accommodations and modifications with that. Okay. So in the OCR complaint, I was able to copy and paste specific things that it stated in regards to Section 504, which is what an OCR complaint supports, or OCR itself supports. And then the other thing was I was able to get, if you guys have in your area, you should look it up. It's called Linda Mood Bell. So if your child has any type of issues with either math or reading, it's specific more to reading, look up Linda Mood Bell. However, at least here in Northern Virginia, it is $27,000 for 12 weeks. Yes, I said 27,000. So I got the school to pay for it, and my daughter's getting ready to go as soon as they open, which is June 15th, I think it is. And so I was able to pull from this learning disability packet on the DOE website of my state. So the school was unable to argue with me because I had facts straight from the DOE website. All right. And so it literally talked about if your child has learning issues with reading, they're past third grade, because that's that kind of mark of where kids should be able to read. So if your child is at third grade or even struggling in second grade, it's time to get serious, because if a child can't read by the time they're in third grade, there's some serious things going on, or some things going on, whether that be the teaching portion from the teacher or they're struggling. So I also got the school to pay for a dyslexia, dyspraxia, reading evaluation, and a psychoeducational. And I was able to prove that from the website, the school's DOE website, or our state's DOE website, that it states the same thing that I had been telling them, that Orton-Gillingham is the most research-based reading program and methodology out there today. Okay, so even a child that knows how to read, that is still one of the best ways to teach a child to read, how it goes about. Okay, and then Linda Mood Bell is just as amazing. And one thing that I love about Linda Mood Bell is, and you know, Orton-Gillingham brings this in too, is the visualization piece. All right. So if a child can visualize what they're reading, and that comes way before comprehension is last. So I've been talking a lot about reading because it's so important. And a lot of children I've found, you know, in speaking with a lot of parents, are regressing in that area, that and math, which are the two most important, right? So I was able to prove that from the state's website, DOE, from this packet, that it goes into extensive writing and communication, and also gives websites in reference to dyslexia, dyspraxia, reading issues, and children who have reading issues having the Orton-Gillingham type learning and methodology used. Key thing that was perfect that they said was that it has to be done, the reading services has to be done by a certified Orton-Gillingham trainer, okay? So they don't have to be a teacher, all right? So like I could go and get my certification in Orton-Gillingham, and you get to choose. You can do group or you can do individual, all right? And you just have to have a bachelor's degree. So anybody who has a bachelor's degree can actually get their certification. I have no interest in getting my certification, but it was interesting that it has to be a certified person. So fighting for a certified person in Orton Gillingham methodology in reading is not as difficult as you may think, because it's more than likely on your school's website in this packet. Okay, so that's your tip. Look at that packet. You may have a lot of supports for you here in this packet. I was able to use it, create my argument, be able to present it in the right way, and persuade them. Done deal. Okay, so that's a tip for you. I thought this was good knowledge to have. I even like the picture on there. Yep, a lot of brain stuff. But you want to look up your state's guidelines for educating students with learning disabilities, and it should be on your state's website. All right. You can even put your state in the search area, not on the website if you don't want, but you can put just say North Carolina guidelines for educating children with learning disabilities, DOE, and then it associate with one another. And if it's on the website, the DOE website, then the school can't argue you. The only thing they can argue is, oh, your child's doing fine. There's nothing wrong. They're progressing. Everything's all good. And peaches and cream. All right. So then you have to prove otherwise, which is why objective data comes into play. So if you guys are hopping on, post a 1 below if it's your first through third time watching me live. Post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. And I'm opening up the live Q&A now. So you have your tip of the week. Look that form up. It's your state, whatever the state is, Virginia, North Carolina, Texas, whatever, guidelines for educating children with learning disabilities. All right. It should be attached to your DOE website. You can put it in search on the DOE website, or you can put it in search in Google and then just add just say your state, and then guidelines for educating children with learning disabilities, and then make sure to put DOE at the end so that they're associated. All right, so that's your tip. It's a really good tip because you can find a lot of information to back up objective data, to back up arguments of things you may want for your child with special needs. Okay, so I want you to post below if you can't find it, and I can, help you find it if at all possible. Okay, so PM me and just put it in the comments below. You can tag me in my name, and then I'll know that you posted something and you're having some issues. Okay, so if you guys are on, normally, like I said, I do my Q&A over in the group, but I wanted to allow people here on the page who haven't maybe joined the group yet to be able to get some questions answered. So if you want to join the group, it's Autism Mama Rocks, the IEP group. Just put that in the search area of Facebook, and make sure to click notifications in the group and here on the page so you know when I go live. So go ahead. Question and answer time. It's up to you. I'll stay on here for about 15 minutes if you guys want to ask some questions, and we'll go from there. All right. So if you guys have some questions, post them below. If I don't have a lot of people on and you guys don't have a lot of questions right at this moment, maybe I'll hop back on about 8 o'clock and do a Q&A then. And I'll also do another Q&A tomorrow. And go live then as well around 8:30, okay? And then Tuesday, more than likely, I'm going to go live on the group, okay? So ask your questions if you don't have any. I'm realizing, it's funny that, during the school year, this is kind of a popular time. Right now, it's not so much. So I'm just trying to figure out when you guys are on live. Maybe I'll do a poll or something. Are you still on, Jesse? Do you have a preference of what times are decent? But maybe I'll do a poll and find out from people when you guys are on, and a good time to catch you guys, because I definitely love catching you guys live. I know you guys watch me later, but I love catching you guys live so you can ask your questions and we can do it live. It's a lot of fun. One thing I may be doing coming up soon with my group people is setting up Zooms once a month for just a live Q&A where we can see each other face to face. So that's fun. So if you haven't joined the group, do that because we're going to start some really cool things coming up soon, okay? All right. Well, I don't see a whole lot of people on here right now, so I wanted to give you that tip. All right, so hopefully that works for you. Post below if it doesn't and you can't find it, because most states have that. All right, so Paula says, what kind of data does a school need to justify a new placement at a different school? My son is 5 and was in kindergarten. Well, what is the issue? What are you trying to do? Obviously, you want to go to a different school, but is it a private school or is it another school in the district? What are you? Hi, Debbie. How are you? Welcome, welcome. So yeah, let me know, Paula, like, is it a private school? Is it still your district school, but you just want them to go to a different school because they may have a different program there? What are you looking for? Let me know. And don't forget, guys, if you're hopping on, post a 1 below if it's your first through third time watching me, and a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. I want you guys to say hi. I want you guys to be active here on the page and in the group. So don't be shy. Don't be shy. So Paula, let me know so I know how I can, so the more information you can give me. But I mean, if I were just going to answer it in a general sense, it really just depends on if you're going to, hi, how are you? It depends on if you're going to private is more difficult. I mean, you got to have a history of issues. It can't just be, oh, my kid's not doing well, I want to go to a private school. Doesn't work like that. So, all right, he has autism and was in special ed classroom all day. The school wants to send him to another school in the district that has an autism program. So what's wrong with that? Is that a bad thing? Okay, the booklet is whatever your state's name is. So where do you live, Debbie? And then guidelines for educating students with specific learning disabilities. So I love it because, again, I was able to, so for example, if you're trying to say your child, like I was saying, needs extra reading or a certain reading program or methodology or a different way of learning math or whatever it is, it has a ton of not just links, but research, and it talks about research-based strategies, and that's what schools have to do for our kids, what's needed and appropriate based off research and peer reviews. So I thought it was really cool, and it talks about the ways in which kids with learning disabilities learn, and I thought that was really cool. And, I was able to look up for myself, with reading, the matrix of multisensory structured language programs, which is like the Orton Gillingham, which is the best of the best, the most research, the most peer-reviewed in regards to reading. So if it was something else, that your child's struggling with, then you would just look up that area. So it talks about all kinds of areas, for what's in mind, but it talks about math and measurement and spelling and handwriting, written expression, and all kinds of things, social strategies, important educational programming, early intervention, research-based behavior interventions. I mean, it goes into in-depth stuff, and it also has all the research and even idea laws and areas that are really important to know. So I figured, I understand that a lot of parents need help, and I've been crazy busy with doing IEP makeovers. Don't forget, guys, today's the last day of the 30% off. So if you're interested, message me in an email, or you can PM below and just tag my name, or PM me privately. That's probably a better idea. But make sure that you guys, hi Fatima, how are you? How can you find it for Nevada? You just go Nevada Guidelines for Educating Children with Specific Learning Disabilities. So if somebody wants to write that down for me, so it's your state, all right, maybe put that in parentheses, or I can do it when I'm off here. And then it's Guidelines for Education, Educating Children with Learning Disabilities. That's it. And then you want to put DOE at the end if you do a Google search, or if you go into the search area on your DOE website, then you'll just say guidelines for educating children with learning disabilities, and things will come up. All right. And if you have any problems, just message me and I'll help you. All right. But every state has it, and it's a wealth of information. And my state, it is 34 pages, but I'm telling you guys, I mean, like, this is just math. All right. They give you all these different websites to click on that support what they are saying. And then guidelines for educating students with specific learning disabilities. That's right. And then just put your state's name. So maybe put Debbie, put in parentheses before guidelines for educating children with students, put in parentheses your state's name. Your state. And I mean, it's awesome. And I mean, I use it as a go-to all the time. All right. So I printed it out just so I could kind of show you guys. I mean, I guess I could have shared my screen, but I printed it out just to show you guys. But I always take PDFs and put them into Adobe Acrobat, and I export them into a Google Doc, or a doc basically, and then I have a folder that I put it in Google Drive. But I love doing that because then I'm able to like take some of the information and edit it to where I want it, you know, and somewhere else. And if there's boxes or, you know, different things, you're able to take the whole box and put it in there. It's pretty cool. But I haven't had a chance to observe the new classroom, and they said he's not meeting any of his goals this year. He is showing progress though. They said this new classroom has smaller class size. I feel like his needs can still be met at his home school. Okay. So number one, I'm going to just tell you what I just read that you wrote, that maybe you're not seeing this. And I know this happens a lot, so I'm going to point it out to you. So you said, I haven't had a chance to observe the classroom. Well, that's number one before you ever transfer your child anywhere. Okay. And I don't mean just one time. I mean, you need to observe that classroom 2 or 3 times in an active state, you know, like different times so you can see it fully, you know. And don't be opposed though to that. That's actually can be a good thing. The next thing that you said is he has not met any of his goals this year. And then you followed that up with, he is showing progress though. No, he's not. Because you just told me that he hasn't met any of his goals. So is he making progress or is he not making his goals? It's one or the other. Okay. So like if he was making his goals in most sections and most areas, but not in math, or if he was making all his goals except in reading, then that's making progress except for reading or math. But if he's not meeting his goals, they're wanting to transfer schools to a smaller room and an autism room, which can be good or bad. I'm confused. Did they say that he's meeting his goals, or do you say that he's meeting his goals? Because if he's not meeting his goals, then he's not making progress. How do you know he's making progress? What have you seen that shows he's making progress? What objective data, report data have you seen? I would just want a lot more information from them. All right. So like if I was on this case, I would send a very detailed email. I would go into depth on the past year. I would dive into talking about, you know, the fact that I had addressed XYZ if you had, and I would address the fact that now they want to switch his school, change up his whole school comfort, I guess you could say, when changes, you know, we've already gone through change right now though, but change is difficult for our kids. So he went from school to home with COVID and then to another school. It's a lot of change. So I want a good reason as to why that change has to happen. So I would dive into putting all the facts I possibly could into that email. I would document and state different emails that I may have sent throughout the year. I would make sure that you've received every single one of your progress reports. And in what people don't seem to get is you guys cannot just accept progress reports, because a lot of progress reports do not have details. A lot of them may have your goals copy and pasted onto the progress report, and then has a couple sentences as to what your child has mastered or not mastered, or if they're making progress, but that doesn't tell me anything. I need to see it. So it's well and good that you give me a progress report because you have to, but I want that report data. What do you have to prove to me that what you're saying is accurate? That's what has to happen. And if it's not in your IEP, then that's the problem. I always follow up my goals with it saying as measured by report data collection given to the parent on a monthly basis. So not only do I get report data collection with graphs on a monthly basis, but I also get the progress reports with that as well. And then that's how the school proves to me that my child has mastered something. And then guess what? I do it at home with her to make sure she can do it. So you have to not take the school's word for, oh, okay, she's making progress and it's been really good working with her and she's making progress and everything's looking good. That doesn't tell me anything. That's just your words, your opinion, your thoughts. I want to see that my child's making progress. Show me what you're saying is fact. All right? You can only take someone's word so much. I mean, they have to prove what they're saying is right. You know, I had to do that for years, you know, in building my business of helping parents, you know, with special needs children and, you know, going to IEPs and, you know, you don't think parents were nervous at first when they hired me and was like, I haven't hired an advocate yet. Of course. So, you know, it's the same thing with teachers and the same thing with, you know, showing data of show me that what you're saying is right, you know? Show me that that's the proof. They have no data to support the decisions. 2, the only thing they have is classroom data. That doesn't tell me anything. It was reeval, and there was no academic testing completed. The only scores he has are from early intervention. Quarterly updates show he is improving on his goals. Percentage go up. He just hasn't mastered the goal. Well, those percentages that they put on the, I'd have to see your stuff, Paula, but those percentages that they put on those progress reports, how do you know that's accurate? That's what I'm asking you. All right. They put he's improving, he's improving, he's improving. How do you know that for sure? Not just their percentage that they say, oh, he's doing good. Do you know what I'm saying? If you want, set up a discovery call with me and we'll talk more about it. The discovery call is free. It's a 15-minute call. Usually it goes longer. And we chit chat about, you know, what your needs are, what, you know, your issues or concerns are. And we go from there and figure out like what's the best avenue for you. So hopefully that makes sense. So yeah, I mean, in answering your question, number one, I think you should set up a discovery call and we'll talk. But the other thing is, or PM me and we'll set up a time to talk. And because my schedule is crazy, so I'll have to fit you in. So just PM me and we'll talk. And we'll set up a time to talk. But in answering your question, the data they need to have is just that, you know, is, you know, okay, show me that he's not, that this is the reason he's not making goals in this school. That what is available could be different at this school. And this is why he more than likely will make progress at this school versus this school. And prove to you that it's not a low expectation area, that they they tend to have. So, for example, they may not have enough staff that can suit his needs, or maybe it's becoming too much for whoever is dealing with this right now. And but an autism classroom is a restrictive environment. So I would have to just talk to you and learn more about your child and figure out what the best avenue would be, because it's a big deal and you don't want them just shoving him around and going to different places, because they don't want to deal with something. So if he can be served better or at a different school, okay, fine. I'm willing to listen to that. I'm willing to go and observe, but you need to prove to me that he can do better here than where he is now. All right? Like, you can't just say, oh, he'll do better. And number two, you're not they're not providing FAPE to your child because he's not improving on goals and they haven't showed you any progress. So that's actually a procedural violation. So, I mean, you have to figure out, they don't have a lot of data to support their decision. And that's a big deal. That's a procedural violation, that the school is not doing their job and they're not, adhering to guidelines that should be, and that's actually in here, where data has to be taken. And, so the fact that you can support that, and that's, where I help a lot of parents too, is they're like, they're not supposed to do this. They're not allowed to do this. They're not allowed to do that. Because, parents have either read this already or they know, but they're unsure of how to go and get the school to do it because they keep getting the no. Which there's always a person in your IEP. Their job is to say no. All right. So again, if you guys have popped on or you're hopping on, post a 1 below if you are new. That is your first through third time. And post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. Make sure to say hi. Click notifications so you know when I go live. Hop over to the group at Autism Mama Rocks, the IEP group. You can put that into search. And I hope to see you guys over there. We do a lot of cool stuff over there on the group. And I'm just excited to be talking with you today. We did the tip of the week. So if you didn't hear that, go watch that. And we talked about where you can get the tip of the week that I spoke about. And we did a little short Q&A, which has been fun. Make sure you post any of your questions below if you're hopping on later or watching the replay. And I will make sure to get to them. New York, you're in New York? I have New York's. I know New York's is there because I'm working with a client in New York right now. So I know for sure New York's is there. But go under search in Google if it's not on the DOE website and just put Virginia Guidelines for Educating Children with Learning Disabilities, DOE, or DOE, your state's name, DOE, New York, Guidelines for Educating with Learning Disabilities. Okay? All right. So make sure you post below if you have any issues with finding that and any questions that you guys may have. And Paula, don't forget, set up an appointment to talk with me. Actually, just PM me on my phone and we'll set up a time together. Okay? All right, guys. Did you guys have any more questions? Any last minute questions? No? All right. So if you think of any more questions, make sure to post them below. If you're hopping on and watching the replay, post a 1 below if you're new, 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie, and ask any questions that you have, and I promise to come back and answer them. You're welcome to tag me as well, and then I'll get an alert that you guys had a question. All right, guys, I'll more than likely come on live tomorrow night around 8:30. So definitely click notifications so you know when I'm going to go live. More than likely, I'll post that I'm going to go live tomorrow around 8 or 8:30. So if it's 8, it's going to be like closer to 8:30 because I'm always late. That's a bad thing, but I am. And I have a child with special needs and on the spectrum too. So things just don't, you guys know how that goes, things don't always go as we plan, but we do our best, right? All right, guys, have a wonderful Sunday evening and go cook out, watch a movie, hang out. If it's nice in your area, have some fun outside. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Paula, don't forget, make an appointment, PM me. And Debbie, I'd love to talk with you. So if you're wanting to set up a call, PM me as well. Welcome, welcome. And Fatima, welcome. And in Nevada, if you can't find the guidelines, let me know and I will help you look it up, okay? All right, guys, I will talk to you soon, probably tomorrow, and have a good day. Bye-bye.